little girl was sitting on the railway line. She was only 2 years and 2 months old. The engine driver did his very best to stop the train in time.
The case of Thomas and the British Railway Board probably didn't make the headlines at the time, having happened in a small, rural Welsh village. Even now, you'll only find it in the obscure part of a law textbook. But it contains everything that you need to know about the law. It's also a cautionary tale about more than just railways. As always, if you enjoy this video, then please remember to click the subscribe button.
Up until the mid-19th century, there was nothing but open fields and grazing livestock on the land known as Cay Tinker in the Welsh village of Maesteg. In 1855, a railway was built across the fields, and around a century later, the local council built a housing estate next to the railway. The housing estate is still there, as it happens, though it has a different name now. Now, it so happened that a footpath ran across the railway at Cay Tinker. There was a fence separating the housing estate from the railway, so the council put up a stile to let people cross the fence onto the railway when they built the houses. The stile was so badly designed that it only lasted for 10 days. Then somebody vandalised it. Nobody knows who or why, and neither the council nor the railway board did anything to replace it.
About 1 week later, Mrs. Thomas, who lived at number 161 Cay Tinker, was doing her laundry. Her little girls, aged 2 and 3, were playing in the garden.
Mrs. Thomas popped into the house to get some more clothes for her washing machine. In the 2 minutes she was gone, her youngest daughter, Carrie, toddled out of the garden, up the steps, wobbled up the bank, through the hole the council had left in the fence, and sat herself down on the railway line. It was just after 10:30 in the morning when a diesel train came round the bend. The driver, David Rees, saw something on the line, but it was just too small to make out quite what it was. He blew his horn and gently applied the brakes. The train got nearer and nearer, and David Rees finally made out the shape of Kerry Thomas on the line. He slammed his brakes with all his strength. The train came screaming down the line, but there was nothing he could do. Poor Kerry was hit. She lost both her legs, just below the knee.
Now, you'll be relieved to hear that Kerry survived the accident. Her family, however, were distraught. They took the British Railway Board and the local council, who had built the defective stile, to court. The great irony, of course, is that Kerry, who was the centre of this case and the one whose name it was brought in, wouldn't have had the slightest idea what was going on this whole time. Her life would never be the same. When the case reached the court got bogged down in technicalities. The council blamed the railway board. The railway board blamed the council. And the muddled judge denied Kerry compensation on the basis of a technicality that nobody could work out which came first, the footpath or the railway, and therefore who should be responsible. Even on appeal, it looked like the case might not go Kerry's way. Lord Justice Gough was not keen to award compensation. He was unsure. Lord Justice Scarman looked carefully at the authorities. But Kerry had one very powerful ally in court. the highest judge in civil courts in the land, Lord Denning.
While Lord Justice Gough and Lord Justice Scarman were wealthy, private school educated, traditional members of the judiciary, Tom Denning was anything but that. Raised in a draper's shop and speaking with a broad Hampshire accent, Lord Denning had a reputation for standing up for normal people. Such simple facts ought not to provoke much legal discussion, let alone much difference of opinion, said Lord Denning. He dismissed the technicalities, distilled the case to its bare facts. A little girl had been seriously injured because the authorities hadn't done their job. And the giant organisations that were meant to protect people like Kerry could not be allowed to use legal technicalities to shirk their responsibilities. Kerry Thomas suffered life-changing injuries, and it would be insufferable if her right to compensation hung on such a thin thread as whether the footpath came before the railway or the railway before the footpath.
Now, Lord Denning awarded £35,000 plus interest, a lot of money in 1976 when the case was decided. Kerry, through no fault of her own, would never get the life she deserved, but she did get the result she deserved. This case is a stark reminder of the whole point in law. It's not about technicalities. It's not about shifting blame. It's about people. Thanks for watching.